Hey there, it's Eric, and in this video today we're going to be talking a little bit about costumes for runDisney races. Some tips and tricks to make sure you not only look great, but that you're still able to run your race. So let's get started. First and foremost, at a runDisney race, you are running a race. So you've likely trained hard for it, and you want to do your best. But at the same time, it's still a runDisney race, so you want it to be something special, not just the usual 5K or 10K at a community park. And so that is why I think dressing up is a great thing to do. But you want to make sure of a few things. Number one, you want to make sure you use the right material. So let's say you have an awesome Disney costume that you use for Halloween or something like that. Does that mean you have an awesome runDisney costume? Not necessarily. Just like it makes a difference when you wear a regular t-shirt, shorts, and socks compared to when you wear a shirt, shorts, and socks made specifically for athletic activity, you want to make sure your costume material can breathe so you don't get too hot, and that it transfers the sweat away from your body. The one time I didn't follow this rule was when I bought my Aladdin pants online. And I figured, you know what, they're going to be loose, it will be okay. And so I thought my biggest challenge with those would be that they're kind of hard to run in because they're really baggy. About within the first half mile of the race, I could start to feel the difference. It was like the bottom half of me was running inside of a humid jungle, while the rest of me was running a runDisney race in Anaheim, which was really nice, but my legs were overheating. So you want to make sure it's made of the right material. Number two, you want to make sure that you practice running in your actual costume. You don't want the first time to be running in your costume on race day, because each time I've worn a costume, I've found some things where like, oh, that didn't work so good, oh, this started to fall off. And as you practice in it, you're going to learn those things. So what I would recommend is whatever distance you're running, run in your costume at home at least half that distance. So if you're running a half marathon, probably run about 6 miles in it. If you're running 10K, run 3 miles in it, and just see how it goes. Because that way you're going to find out like, oh, this material is actually kind of itching me right here, or like, oh, that thing didn't last as long. Oh, these pixie wings are hitting me in the back of the head. So you'll learn, okay, I need to either pin this here, or I need to flip this way. And make sure you wear your full costume. Not only does it give your neighbors something to wonder about as you run past their house, wearing, as I have, like a full-on Peter Pan wig and hat, but it also points out some things. The one time I didn't wear one accessory of my costume was with Peter Pan. I didn't wear the little belt around my waist when I practiced, because it's a little belt. What's that going to do? Well, as I ran the actual race, the metal latch on the belt started to hit my stomach, and by the end of the race I had a big bruise across my stomach from that dang metal latch. So make sure you wear your full costume so you can find out things like that. Number three, have fun with the theme, but don't be constrained by the theme. Each race is going to have a theme, such as the Neverland 5K or the Doctor Strange 10K, and you will see people dressed up to that theme. But more often than not, people are dressed up to kind of the larger theme of the weekend. So for example, we didn't see a lot of people dressed up like Doctor Strange at the Doctor Strange 10K. There were just a few, but not very many. But you did see a lot of people dressed up like Avengers, superheroes, Captain America, all those different things throughout that whole weekend. When the theme was Aladdin and Genie, there weren't many other Aladdins and Genies running, but there were a lot of people dressed up as Disney characters and Disneyland themed things, because it was the Disneyland half marathon weekend. And so you're going to see a lot of awesome costumes. If you are going to be running with friends or family, it's really fun to come up with a theme for your group. So whether it is you're all characters from the same movie, or maybe characters from the same ride, it's just really fun to come up with a theme where when people see your group coming towards them, they can shout out and cheer for you. Tip number 4 is don't start from scratch. There's been plenty of times where I've made Halloween costumes where I start from scratch. I went and bought material, I cut out the patterns and everything. But with athletic material, sometimes it's a little trickier to find, and it's also a little trickier to sew just because of the way it stretches sometimes. So what I found works best for me is to start out with some actual athletic t-shirts that I just buy. You might be saying, well, my costume won't work with a t-shirt. Well, for example, with the Peter Pan and Tinkerbell costume that me and my sister did, instead of trying to find the material to do that, I bought 2 green shirts for my Peter Pan, and I bought 2 tank tops for my sister. And the length beyond the original shirt that you can see below is from that second t-shirt we turned into the bottom half of the costume and just sewed it together there. And also, with the remainder of those things, I made the collar for the Peter Pan costume. So it's really not that hard, and it's a lot easier than trying to figure out how to start from scratch, making the t-shirt fit right. Depending on what costume you want, there might already be options where you can just buy athletic versions of those. For example, with Star Wars and Avengers, there's already athletic shirts made to those themes. And particularly for women and girls, there is a market out there for a lot of Disney-themed running skirts and leggings and shirts for women that you can look into. Also, for the race weekend, if you are running a race, you will get an athletic shirt for that race. And some people do wear those for the races. I personally like to wear it after the race, so as I'm in the park, I can show it off to people and kind of show what I did that day as I'm wearing my medal too. And the last tip is just for fun here. As you run in a costume, you're going to have people cheer for you and shout out whatever character you are dressed as. And so one important thing, it's going to be awesome because you're like, hey, I'm popular, hey, hey. But don't forget to cheer for those other awesome costumes you see running alongside, because people, as you'll find out, put a lot of effort into these things, and I definitely think they deserve to be cheered for and at least know that they did an awesome job. But those are the few quick tips I have for costumes for Run Disney races. Hopefully, at some point, I will get to see you at a Run Disney race. But yeah, if you have any questions or comments, post them below. And if you like this video, give it a like so more people will be able to find them. Thanks so much.